Hey everybody, my name is Mike Tamburi, and thank you for joining me here on my on this video. So why am I here? What am I here to talk about? Well, I'm here to talk about you, and I'm here to talk about the Veteran Affairs and processing your compensation and pension exams, or as we know them as C&P exams, and also maybe talk about the medical board process as well. Now, I'm not going to discuss all of it in this video right now because that would probably be hours upon hours of talking. So essentially this is just going to be an overview of why it's important for you guys to take care of your bodies and take care of yourself. And I have a lot of unique experiences, and I feel like I bring a pretty unique situation to the table that hopefully could benefit you guys as well. And we're all in this fight together. And I just want everyone to be successful in doing their C&P exams, and so that's what I'm here to talk about with you guys. And so, like I said, this is about you guys, and why do I care about you? You know, like, who's this dude on the internet posting up videos wanting to help me out? Well, the reason I want to help you is because when I was getting out of the service, I didn't have any help. I chose to get out of the service much sooner than I thought I would. Long story short, my last command was at the White House Situation Room. I was a communications team lead over there, and I traveled with the National Security Council and the President on occasion. And I came from there, I came from an aircraft carrier, and we deployed over to the Persian Gulf for a little while. And then I came to DC, where I ended up eventually working at the White House. So, but why do I bring that up? Well, I had undergone a surgery a couple years while I was on an aircraft carrier that ended up resulting in me having a lot of medical issues that ended up being worse than before I had the surgery. And long story short, I wouldn't call it botched, but I ended up having a surgery that ended up causing a lot more issues because of the military, and they kind of misdiagnosed me and didn't really do a good diagnosis of what my issue was, and it ended up resulting in them really affecting me for the rest of my life with what they did to me. So now I did end up getting medically retired from the Navy around 9 years, but it was a long, stressful, tedious process that it was really scary to go through, because I'm a first generation military member. In my family, no one's ever done it before. So, I mean, I knew what the VA was, but I didn't know what a C&P exam was. And to be quite frank, like, I didn't learn that in the military until about the last 6 months that I was in. I think I learned it with the GPS class, which used to be TAPS. But yeah, I went to the class and they said, oh, do your VA claim. And in the class I was like, oh, well, I've got a few things I can probably claim, my stomach and all that other stuff. So about 6 months before I got out, I decided that I needed to start taking my health into consideration and going to the doctor a little bit more, which was beneficial. But like I said, I was in the sit room for my last tour. I was traveling around the United States and around the world a little bit, and it started to get down to the point where my stomach was like really affecting my ability to travel. I missed a couple trips because my stomach was so bad, and you can't really miss a presidential trip because the president's going without you, so you need to be there, regardless of how you're feeling at that current moment. And typically they'd throw you in the back of a C-17 if you're going overseas, and you're in the back of a C-17 for 48 hours, sitting in a jump seat or laying down on the cold, bay of the C-17. But anyway, so it was those moments that I realized that my stomach just was not good anymore, and I thought it was going to get better. I gave it at least 3-4 years to try to get used to having my inside be all jacked up. Thought my body would adjust, and it didn't. So I made the conscious decision to say, hey, I'm getting out of the service. And for me, it was the right move. So with that being said, I was just going to get out. Like I said, I didn't really know about compensation and pension, so I just said, April's coming up. Yep, that's my end of obligated service. Sweet, let's join the civvy sector. But so I went to go do my claim, and I went to one of what's called a veteran service organization. I went to the Disabled American Veterans, or as A lot of people know them as DAV. And I went to a military base here in Virginia. And needless to say, I was a little let down when I left because they make you get your medical record before you go to the appointment. And so I got my medical record and looked through. It was like 100 pages, and it was primarily all pertaining to my stomach. And because that's was the brunt of most of my medical issues while I was in the military. And I mean, I had other things, but if I was going to the doctor, it was because my stomach was taking priority. And but, you know, I had issues where I'd like turn my head and a sharp shooting pain would go down my neck and down my arm, and my fingers would start twinging. And I mean, my arm would go numb for like 10 minutes. I'd think I was having a stroke, but I never really went to the doctor for it because the military is trained to be rough and tough. You know, it happened with my buddies a couple times where I'm like, oh, my neck. And then you end up laughing off and they're like, dude, you all right? You're like, oh, yeah, I'm fine. It's nothing. Well, it really was actually something. I have nerve damage in my spine, but I didn't know that. I just laughed it off as whatever, not a big deal. Same thing with my shoulder. Before I got out of the service, I was having shoulder issues, and I kept going to the doctor and I said, my shoulder really hurts. I don't know what's wrong with it. And they ended up pushing me away and saying, oh, your shoulder's fine. Here's some Tylenol, whatever. Pretty standard fix for everything in the military, and then said you're fine, essentially. So that went on for a few years where I kept going to the doctor, and so I was like, okay, whatever, my shoulder's not a big deal either. So I didn't even think about claiming that. So then I went to a different DAV because I was so let down with the first one. I was like, all right, I could have done a better claim myself. I could have wrote this up and submitted it to the VA and not wasted anyone's time. But I gave it another shot. I went to a different one, and thank God I did, because I went to a DAV organization here. It was actually in Maryland, up at Walter Reed, and I met somebody up there who changed my life. And I'm not saying that to exaggerate by any means. He literally changed the path forward for my life, and I am so appreciative for that. And I've learned and gained so much knowledge from my situation that I really want to share that with you. And this guy, essentially, I walked into his office, looked at my record, and said, holy shit, I'm bringing you down to the medical board's office right now. And I was looking, I was like, what's wrong? What did you find? And I was like, he's like, what happened to your stomach? I was like, oh yeah, it was stupid. Ended up having to get a surgery when I was 19 years old, and they kind of jacked my insides up. But whatever, I'm still alive, I'm still kicking, whatever, it's no big deal. He's like, no, this is a big deal, because if this was in the civilian sector, you'd be a millionaire because you could have sued them. He's like, you don't have that luxury in the military, and if anything, we should at least try for a medical board. And he's like, I'm going to get you medically retired because of this. And I was like, holy crap, are you kidding me? And I was like, well, I just want to get out. I'm already like poking around the job market. I'm a cybersecurity guy. Finding a job wouldn't be too hard, especially with my condition. There's a lot of remote jobs that I could do. And he was like, oh, take a step back, dude. This is going to benefit you for your future. He's like, tough it out for another year and a half or whatever. Just however long this board takes, you just need to do it and think about your future here. And, he really put things in a perspective for me that was like, hey, I might be semi-okay with some of my conditions right now, but thinking about 20 years from now, I want to be able to dance with my daughter, if I have a daughter, at her wedding. And that was like the perspective that he kept telling me. He was like, you need to think about it in the future. In the future, you need to take care of your body. And that's the message that I want to get out to all of you. Long story short, I did get medically retired. As I said before, it was a long, scary process. But what helped me the most was doing my due diligence and going to my doctor's appointments and establishing a medical record. And that's what you guys need to do. That's what I'm here to preach, is go get your records. Because I look at all these forums, I go on these veteran affairs forums and look at all these service members who have served their country for the past 10, 12, 15 years in one of the most arduous campaigns we've ever had in the United States, not to mention voluntary, where, like Vietnam was a big deal, and a lot of bad things happened over there. A lot of people were affected by that, but that was a draft service, and people typically did a year, went to Vietnam, came back. But we've been supporting multiple campaigns over years, since 2001, war on 9/11, war on terrorism. And with that being said, there's a lot of service members out there that have had extensive time overseas. And I look at these veteran forums, and people are let down by the VA process. And they're like, oh, I got my 70% PTSD was knocked down to 30%. What am I going to do? And this and that. And which is a big deal. And then I look at the people that feel like the VA is out to get them, and it's a big conspiracy, and they're saying, oh, I should have been, I said this to my doctor, and he wrote something else down, and whatever. Like, sure, I'm sure that does happen, but maybe you didn't have significant medical evidence because you never went to the doctor throughout your medical career, or between your military career, and got it put down on paper. And so now you have to get medical conditions put down on paper, because then the VA cannot say, oh, he doesn't have that. Because, and that's something that I had to deal with too. There was a lot of things, like I was so focused on my stomach that my neck, my shoulder, my knee, I broke my ankle while I was in the service, and I never really claimed that. And it's like super stiff and weak still to this day. But I was like, whatever, as part of the service, I get beat up, and I never thought about putting a claim in for it. And that's the thing that we all need to do, is start going to the medical appointments and take the time out of our day to go and do that. And I know, like, right now we're trying to make ends meet. Everyone's trying to make their ends meet. You're trying to adjust to the civilian life as a service member. And it's already a scary transition process, so why complicate it more with like compensation and pension and whatever? Well, it's because your medical and your health will be taken care of forever if you invest the time and just put aside a little bit of time a day to look at your medical record and look inside and see what it says. And if you disagree, you need to go to a doctor and get it checked out, because you know your body better than everybody. And every service member's book is different. If every service member wrote a book, there's not a single one that would be exactly the same experience, which is very unique, and it's really cool that every service member has their own unique opportunities. But how's the VA going to know about you and your opportunity or your situation and your book? You have to put your book down on paper for them to read. And then they can read it and see your history and see your medical record, and then you can establish rapport, and you can now you can prove that you had a medical condition while you were in the service. And that's a big deal, and that's something that really bugs me on these veterans forums, because there's nothing more annoying to me than looking at some people and they're sitting there complaining, and or they feel entitled that I served in the military, I shouldn't have to go to the doctor, they should just listen to me, and I should tell them my ankle hurts, and they should just listen, and I should get compensation. Why? Because there's so many false claims out there right now. Like, everyone's claiming things that are not wrong with their body, just trying to make money off of the VA. And I get it, like, that money is big, and that's if you get 100% permanent total, that's equivalent to like a $54,000 a year job. But it's not really about the money, it's about your health care at the end of the day. So when you're 50 years old and your knee needs reconstructive knee surgery, it's covered for free by the VA. Rather than you coming out of pocket thousands of dollars to get your knee taken care of because of some service-connected issue with your knee. And that's what this is about, is just doing your due diligence, because you may feel entitled, and I'm sorry to break it to you, but they're not going to give it to you because you say, give it to me. You have to prove that there's something wrong. And that's a big deal. So I'm here to kind of talk about this with you guys. And I want to have a forum, a video forum, because I haven't seen anything out there where like someone's posting a video about this process. Like, there's really good forums, and like there's like Facebook groups and whatnot. And they're great, and they're a great support group because people can write on there to one another. But once you read like a comment or two, and that's all you get out of it. Someone will ask a question, you get 10, 15 comments, but a video, I'm a very, like, I need to extend, I learn by like videos and doing things. I'm a much more physical person than reading. And when you see somebody talking about it and you feel engaged and you want to learn more. And I hope I come across as you wanting to learn more about me and how I can help you get the medical benefits that you deserve through the CMP process. So I'm going to end up leaving it at this, and I want you guys to comment on this video. Let me know what you guys want to see, and subscribe to the button down below, because I'm probably going to be posting a little bit more content on like the CMP process and the med board process. Now, granted, I went through the Navy's med board, so I'm very familiar with the Navy med board. Other branches of service are not too dissimilar, but I won't go too far into them because, like I said, I'm a Navy. I know the Navy process because I went through it. But in speaking about the Veteran Affair Benefits, the CMP, I can speak about all branches of services for that because I also did that as well. But yeah. Comment below, let me know what you want to see. I'm going to have more content coming out, so if you hit subscribe, you'll see when I post a new video, and I hope that my videos can help, because just because you're not wearing a uniform anymore does not mean that you don't have support, outside of the military. We're all brothers and sisters. We all fought an armed conflict together, so we're still here for one another, and that's the community that I'm reaching out to. I want to reach out to you guys and help. So, thank you for watching. I really appreciate your guys' time, and I look forward to helping you out. And I'm going to learn things from you guys, and you can learn things from me. And we're going to do this together because I feel like we all deserve it. We all deserve to go through this and come out successful together. So thank you so much, and I look forward to hearing all the comments you guys have. And I'll talk to you soon. Thanks now. See ya.